Hello everybody, my name is Luca De Angelis. I'm a digital design lead from Sydney. Now in today's video, I wanted to discuss a topic that I think is very important and not many people are talking about right now. Well, first of all, let me say that I'm really excited to see how much design in general is recognized by companies today. If I remember when I started 20 years ago, the role of design was so minimal and it was mostly about the UI and the appearance of the interfaces and not much about the user experience and what the users want. Today instead we see much more user-centered design being performed globally, which is exciting. I think at the moment we're also seeing a sort of cultural appropriation of UX in other neighboring fields that are kinda distorting the real meaning of UX. And while I'm excited that there is more user-centered design going on, at the same time, I think we should also be cautious of what the perils of approaching UX from a different lens could be. In particular, I'm referring to digital marketing teams and growth teams, which are approaching UX from a completely different angle. For example, we are witnessing the rise of UXO, which is user experience optimization. That's something that is not really recognized in the UX field per se, but is becoming much more prominent today. And the problem I have with that is that we are shifting from a user perspective to a sales perspective. And while that's good for business, it might not be that good for users. And this is why. Essentially, when you perform UX activities, you have to go out and talk to customers and do different sort of studies that allow you to understand what the users really want. Instead, when a company tries to use UX in that way, they are coming from a different lens, which is how do we increase sales? Now that's really dangerous to me because what users want and the sales that your company make are not necessarily aligned. And you can't just push your current products as much as you can onto the users using all sorts of dark patterns and strategies just because you can. While you will see an increase in sales, at the same time, I believe you are missing out on a ton of opportunities for innovation, to create new products, to fix larger underlying issues, and to get customer feedback. I believe that good design should come from studying human factors such as psychology, understanding the real motivations and goals of users. We do a disservice to the design industry if we try to abuse the tools of design to serve a different purpose, such as increasing sales. It's normal that a company would want to increase their sales. Why wouldn't you tweak your existing channels to perform better so that you can sell more without having to do anything else? That's perfectly reasonable. But do not think that that's UX. That's essentially using a few UX tools for the purpose of increasing sales. That should not be called UX design, and it could be damaging for your company if that's all the UX you do. So I think it's really important that we set some boundaries between the two, because I can definitely see marketing departments having more budget for their internal projects and therefore trying to incorporate growth into sales and incorporating some UX optimization strategies and having more funds to perform those than having funds for a proper design department, which will be able to surface so much more. Please note that UX is not just about designing the interface and improving the user experience. It's very much about strategy. What we see is that the more a company maturity grows, the more UX feeds into their strategy. And we can get to company maturity levels as high as Apple's, for example, where UX essentially drives the strategy of the company, where instead I see that most companies go the other way around. They use sales to drive their strategy, and therefore their strategy is sales-driven rather than being customer-driven. So let me reiterate that improving sales does not mean improving customer experience or user experience. User experience is much broader and has got many more tools under its belt. This is all I wanted to share with you today. Be cautious when you see in your company that funds go more towards growth and optimizing sales rather than having users come into your company on a regular basis and talking to you and doing usability testing and doing surveys and contextual inquiries and doing diary studies. When the funds allocated to the former surpass the funds allocated to the latter, there is something wrong, and it's a symptom of a sort of marketing sickness in your company. And that's really detrimental, because that means that you are always gonna chase your competitors rather than innovate. Because when you optimize sales, you're not really understanding what your users want. So that's pretty dangerous. All right, thank you so much for watching me. I am Luca from Sydney. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, share this video with your peers. It really helps me know that you like content of this kind so that I can produce more of it. Please connect with me on LinkedIn or on Instagram. I'm open to new connections, and it will be great to talk with you about what you're doing. All right, have a great day and talk soon. Ciao.